life can be stressful. You know, just the normal busyness of being busy. And for me, I love the west side of Los Angeles because it's so close to the coast. And whenever I'm feeling stressed or lonely or isolated or just need to get outside and breathe some fresh air, you know, I love taking that journey up PCH, past Santa Monica, up to Malibu, and just becoming one with nature in my own way. You know, the digital era where there's so much noise, it's a way for me to kind of quiet that noise and tap into what's really in my heart, what's really in my head, and just have fun with it, to be honest, too. It's just fun. You know, it's been said a million times, but like in the canyons, you really kind of got to lock in. You got to pay attention, especially when you're in something old that doesn't have power steering. But I always kind of wanted to get a vintage car, but never really knew how to figure that out, or it always seemed like some lofty goal. Pre-smog is definitely my preference, you know, in California, but vintage cars are just cooler. They're just fresher. They're metal. You know, you used to hear about that in songs. You know, the MCs would talk about, you know, back when the cars were made of metal versus plastic. From a vintage car perspective, I always gravitated towards Porsche 911s, Alfa Romeo GTVs, and the BMWs caught my eye as well. I always thought those BMWs, those 2002s looked the best. And finally, you know, when I had enough cash flow where I wasn't stretching so hard to purchase the car, I went on a more serious search for a BMW 2002 as sort of my starter classic car. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, by way of South Central Los Angeles, but I would say that my internal compass always pointed west. So I had to eventually find my way back home, and now I live on the west side of Los Angeles. There's a lot of misconceptions about Los Angeles. What I also think is how tough it can be to live and thrive here. And so what I notice is that a lot of people come here from different places, struggle to find their way, and then they end up leaving because they can't really find it. My theory on that is it takes about 4 years to really find your tribe and get settled in your groove. And a lot of people kind of quit. You know, it's a lot of grinding, it's a lot of people, but it could be lonely at times until you find your people or you find that thing, you know, that makes you feel really good. And in my case, that was cars and cameras and community and whatnot. I had been searching for probably about 6 to 12 months, and this one popped up in Lancaster. You know, to my surprise, it was a relatively clean car that had just been sitting in a body shop owner's garage for about 17 years. I think he had found the car and had planned to do like a, you know, restoration on a Concord restoration and just never got. And then I kind of find my way in there, and that's, you know, that's how I found my 2002, which is really a 1600. Was faded. It didn't look like the fancy Son of Cobra car, you know? So I didn't make that connection in the beginning, but yeah, I would say it was like love at first sight, really because of the color. And it drove. When we did the archival research on the car, we figured out that it was probably manufactured in '67, shipped in '68 and sat on a dealer lot until '69. I'm not really a patina guy, but sometimes they say the car finds you. What I come to realize is that it is kind of special to find a 1600 early car in that Florida green color. The interior, surprisingly, all original as well, including the seats and the cracked dash and the steering wheel, except for the shift knob, which is indicative that somebody at some point switched the shift knob to an earlier car because it's got the older BMW font on it. The little things, and so it started to make me appreciate the car. And if you slow down, pay attention, whether it's the swan neck mirror, the embossed trim, the sort of fanned out wiper blade, there's all of these little touches on their car that are just original from the late 60s. And then one day in West Hollywood, the engine just goes bang. I wasn't planning on doing engine work that early, but that sort of forced me into it. Stumbled into a guy named Mono at Modified Cars. And so Mono at that point said, "You got an engine swap. You gotta put an M20 in it." And I was like, okay, I didn't come for a full engine swap, but let's do it. We have like an E30 M3 prop shaft. We're running like a 364 differential custom exhaust. So we took the original 13x3-inch wheels and widened them by 3 inches so we could get more tire there. The brakes have been upgraded, and we got some like little custom bits. The top of the car is all original BMW 1600 early car, but from a mechanical standpoint, it's pretty much like an E30 underneath. It's got character, personality, it's temperamental. I have to learn how to work on it, fix it, on the fly, but put about 15,000 miles on it since the build. For the most part, it's been very reliable, other than the sort of normal M20 cooling issues that happen that we're trying to figure out. I kind of got tired of taking pictures of my own car, so I started taking pictures of other people's cars. That sort of encouraged me to pick up my first camera, and then realized that the cars, as good as they are, they're just rubber, metal, gasoline, plastic, Really what's cool is the people behind, the cars. And so started to want to document people's journey in the car community, and that sprung up a whole brand. I have a art project and a sort of community building platform called Motoring While Black. All of these sort of mundane moments that don't seem special in the moment, they will mean something later. There's so many people doing so many amazing things in the car space, just really telling the story in almost in a reportage, sort of documentary style type of way. That's my thing. Since I've shot them so many times now, it's just to kind of find that perfect setting or that perfect backdrop. Where the background, the cityscape or whatever just kind of flows in nicely with the color, or to fit it in a little pocket, so that's what I find exciting about the O2s now, is just where to place them. Where I'm at with the car and where I'm at in life is sort of the liminal stage, I'm the betwixt, where I'm kind of I'm in between careers. The car is in between my ultimate vision of what I want it to be and where it is now, but definitely want to redo the interior, clean the interior up a little bit. So that's my vision, new wheels, potentially hot rod the motor a little bit. I want to keep it naturally aspirated though, and paint the exterior and maybe change the fender profile. My name is Rashod. I'm an automotive enthusiast, photographer, community builder. I drive a 1969 BMW 1600 O2.